And authorities are trying to locate a Lancaster man who they are calling a person of interest in the death of his wife, 33-year-old Sheila Cabrera.
This comes as disturbing new video shows him dragging a large object away from their home just one day before her body was found dumped in the Angeles National Forest. Lindsay Pena live in Lancaster with the latest. Lindsay.
Yeah, Cher, Micah, this is that apartment complex that the victim lived in with her husband and 3 young sons. Shortly after she was reported missing, a neighbor came forward with video from his doorbell camera that showed the husband dragging a large object through that complex, wrapped in some sort of bag or tarp. Now, we do want to warn you that this video is graphic and some may find it disturbing. Investigators say this is 36-year-old Josimar Cabrera, captured in the early morning hours at an apartment complex in the 500 block of Lancaster Boulevard. His wife, 33-year-old Sheila Cabrera, was last seen, according to friends and family, on August 9th and later reported missing to the sheriff's department on August 12th. Surveillance video shows deputies at the couple's apartment complex, but investigators say when they tried to speak with him, they found out he fled the country, taking his 3 young sons with him to Peru, where the family is originally from. On August 16th, investigators got a tip about something discovered in the Angeles National Forest that turned out to be the body of Sheila Cabrera. Her cause of death hasn't been released yet. That same day, her husband and the 3 boys were located in Peru and the kids taken into protective custody. Family friends say the victim in this case suffered for years from domestic abuse, and they believe her husband killed her after she finally decided to leave. They say she never reported the abuse to authorities because she was an immigrant.
He had it planned. He already had taken the documents from him, like the week before. She told one of our friends that he's asking for my stuff. He's asking for my ID, for my social, the kid's birth certificate. Like, why? She told her mom, I don't want to be with him. I want to report him. And that's she was going to do that day. And, maybe that was her mistake to say it, but it's just, it's heartbreaking. It's super heartbreaking.
The sheriff's department says they expect the DA to file charges in this case soon, and that would start the extradition process to bring Cabrera back to the United States to face charges for this crime. We are told that a vigil may be planned for tomorrow in front of Lancaster City Hall. We'll, of course, keep you updated on that. For now, that is the latest here in Lancaster. Lindsay Pena, KTLA 5 News.
Thank you, Lindsay. Breaking.
That caller was right. It was indeed the remains of a human. And after local and state police searched the site for clues, they came up with the majority of a torso that was believed to belong to a man between 20 and 35 years old. The challenge now was to figure out who the hell it was. They did not have the remains from the knees or the elbows down, and they did not have the head. There were apparent saw marks on the bones. This clearly was foul play. After sending samples to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation for DNA testing, they were unable to find any matches in the system. They were unable to give the victim a name. 4 long years would go by, and this case would grow colder and colder, until criminal intelligence analyst Jennifer Lester was combing through Ohio missing persons cases. She came across a man that was missing since 2015 whose family's DNA had never been collected. And in June of 2020, the John Doe torso was positively identified as 21-year-old Ryan Zimmerman, but many questions remained, and detectives knew that whoever was responsible for this crime was still walking the streets somewhere. Of course, detectives want to talk to the people that he lived with. There are quite a few interviews in this case and lots of extras, so make sure you check out our Patreon linked below. Lots of that stuff will be there. This is the first interrogation of Sarah Buzzard, one of the suspects in this case. But first, let us have a moment of silence for the victim in this case.
There's a detective I believe wants to come and speak to you. Okay, so just sit tight. You need anything? Water or anything like that? Let's see if I can get you a cup of water. Okay.
Hi, Sarah. I'm Megan Baker. I'm with the Sheriff's Office in Ohio.
I'm Rick Ward. Hello, Sarah.
Well, I'm assuming you have lots of questions. Okay. And we're going to take some time and sit down with you here and maybe we can get some answers for those questions for you if that's okay?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any questions for me before we get started here?
No.
Okay. I would just like to have a conversation with you and we can kind of explain a few things and go from there if that's okay. But since we're in here, I want to make sure you're protected and we're protected as well. Part of our protocol, we're going to have Miranda rights, okay? And then we can have a conversation and hopefully answer some of those questions for you.
Okay.
Okay? All right. 20.
25th.
All right. Read, write, speak English?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your highest level of education?
A bachelor's degree.
Okay.
College.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to read this to you, and if you have any questions, stop me at any time, okay? And I'm going to initial next to it. If you just acknowledge after I read each line that you understand what I'm saying, okay? But nod of the head yes or whatnot, okay? So before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about that?
I don't really understand how the process works per se.
So if there's any time that you aren't sure, of a question or something like that, you can say, hey, I don't understand the question. We can try to reword it. If there's any time that you don't want to answer that question, you don't even have to answer that question.
Okay.
Okay. That goes along with the if you decide to answer questions now, without a lawyer present, you can, but you still have the right to stop at any time.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear. Okay, I'm just going to read the waiver portion here real quick. It says, I've read the statement of my rights shown above, and I understand what my rights are. I'm willing to make a statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I'm doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, and no pressure of any kind has been used against me. Does that sound accurate? I mean, we're not sitting here holding you down or anything like that, okay? Do you have any questions about that? I've read your rights to you. This is just acknowledging that we've read those to you. You understand them. If at any time you have any questions about those, feel free to ask.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, just need your signature acknowledging that we read that. All right. And just real quick here, what's your primary address?
5-2.
Okay. And what's your
46952.
and a good phone number for you?
7847.
Okay. And a date of birth?
8/22/91.
Alrighty. So we're here looking into a matter, obviously. And I'm sure you have some questions, but kind of let us explain some things first. And then if you do have questions, we'll be open to hopefully answer some of those.
Okay.
Okay. We're looking into a situation back when you lived in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And about what time frame did you live in Columbus? Because did you...
I went for college.
Okay.
So that would be 2010.
Okay.
And then I was there for a few years after I graduated. I want to say 2015, 2016, somewhere in that range.
Okay. And where did you live at when you were in Columbus?
I lived at a few different places.
Okay.
All of them were apartments.
Okay. And did you have a roommate?
My husband at the time.
Okay. And that would have been...
His name was Corey.
Okay. And when did you get married? You said husband at the time?
Mm-hmm. After graduating high school.
Okay.
And before starting college.
Okay. And he moved there for college as well? Or?
Yes.
Okay. And was there... You said in an apartment. I know sometimes going to college can cause for some tough times with finances and things too. Did you ever bring any roommates in? Anything like that?
At my very last apartment, we had I don't know if they were officially written on the lease, but they were a friend of Corey's.
Okay.
We were there for a few months. I don't remember exactly how long. I didn't have much to do with them.
Okay. And who would the friend have been?
I don't remember what their real name was, but we referred to them as Emma.
Okay. Could it have been Ryan?
Possibly.
Okay. And that's a little bit about why we're here. Is talk about Emma, also known as Ryan Zimmerman. He went missing. Are you familiar with any of that?
No.
Okay. So I guess tell me what you know about Ryan.
Um,
Or Emma, if you know him as Emma.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a little bit of a touchy subject. My husband at the time had sexual interests. They had talked online extensively, and he had invited them to come stay with us, which I did not want to happen, but long story short, it did. So they drove under the agreement that they would pay part of the rent, and within, I think I gave them 3 months, that they would find a job and find their own place, which did not happen. So Corey ended up asking him to leave, which he did, because I guess he found a new boyfriend or something, and just up and left one day, and we didn't hear anything from them again.
And you say them. Was there somebody else with Emma?
No.
And by them, you just mean Emma?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if it was plural, if there was
No. Ryan wanted to start hormone therapy, but I was a little uncomfortable referring to them as she, so we just used the they them pronouns.
Perfect. So you say that he was asked, or Emma was asked to leave. Who were you there for that conversation, or how did that go about?
Secondhand. Corey had said that he was no longer comfortable having Ryan there, and they had also not made an effort to find a job like I had requested.
Okay.
I can't quite remember, but I know that they had a Corey and Ryan had a conversation, either while I wasn't there or while I was not present, and Corey relayed to me that by some date later in the week that he had to leave.
Okay, and you say later in the week. Do you recall around about when that was? A conversation? You said 3 months. You gave him kind of 3 months, and he hadn't looked for a job. Do you recall when he got there? When Emma got there?
I can't remember. No.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Do you recall how long she was there?
No, I'm
Okay.
I'm guessing it's in that.
I'd rather you tell me you aren't sure and not make something up. Does that make sense? Okay. So you weren't there for the conversation of that, but were you there whenever Emma did leave?
Somewhat.
Okay, tell me more about that.
I know that they had tried to plead with me to give them another chance, but I said that I'd already given too many chances, and that it was Corey's call ultimately. And I remember them packing, and either I went to the store, or I was in a different room. I don't remember. I can't quite remember.
Who was all home at the time?
I was. Corey was not. And then my girlfriend was over. So we might have been in the living room. I honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
I just know that 1 minute Emma was there, and then the next he had just left.
Okay. Did you see him leave? Like pull away in a vehicle or something?
Somebody pulled up, and he got in the car and drove off. I thought that he might come back because he did leave his car, but he didn't come back, and then we didn't hear from him again.
Do you happen to know who it would have been? I mean, did he make contacts there?
He said that he did find somebody else. I didn't get in much details with him, but he said that he met someone and had mentioned that he might move in with them, or at least see how things went. That's as far as I know.
Did he leave with you said he packed some things. Did he leave with a bag?
Yeah, the suitcase or duffel or whatever he came with.
Okay, and then he left his car?
Mhm.
Okay. What kind of car did he have or what color or anything like that? Do you remember?
I know it was an older car. Maybe a dark red, like a maroon.
Okay.
That's all I can remember.
Had you ever ridden in it?
Yes.
Okay. Had you ever driven it?
Yes.
Okay. To the store or something, or what did you drive it?
To a gas station. And I couldn't get it to start again. So I had to call a tow company to bring it back. But I was embarrassed about it because I didn't really have permission to drive it.
So did you drive it while he was still living there?
No, this was after he'd left.
After he'd left. Okay. And how did you get it started in the first place? If you want,
it started fine. I noticed that it was low on gas, so I went to the gas station, filled it up, and then I couldn't get it to start again.
Okay. Were you by yourself during this?
My girlfriend was with me.
Okay. And then the wrecker came to get it? You said that you called a wrecker?
I called a tow company.
Okay.
To bring the car back to the apartment.
Okay. So did you see this tow company?
Yes, I rode in the truck with them.
Okay. And then you all brought it back to the apartment then, or? Okay. Parked it like normal?
No. I parked it on the side. Because like I said, I was embarrassed that I took the car without permission. So I parked it over at the side of the complex.
Was it within the complex, or was it like parked on the outside street?
No, it was within the complex.
Okay, so like your apartment, they're like townhouses, kind of like connected,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so you parked it close enough to your apartment that you could walk, or was it around the block? Like, was it?
No, it was close enough that we could walk.
Okay, like a town block, or was it a half a mile away, or?
No, it was. So the townhouses were in rows.
Yes.
And the whole complex was surrounded by like a street block.
Yeah.
So I parked it on the street block. That was still part of the complex, but further off to the side.
Okay. But it was within the complex. Okay. So I guess when the tow truck or what have you dropped it there, took the keys in with you? Anything like that? I'm assuming you had to have the keys.
Yeah, I had the keys. I would assume I took them in with me. I don't actually remember though.
Okay. Had plates and everything on it. I mean, obviously you probably want to drive it down the street if it didn't have plates.
Right.
Okay. And so it was parked there. Had you driven it since then or after that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Did you come back to get it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you know anything that happened to it then?
I know that it disappeared. I don't know what happened to it though. I know I went out to check on it again, and I didn't see that it was there.
Okay.
So I don't know if he came back to get it, if it happened while I was gone. I'm not sure.
Okay. And when it was parked like in painted lines, like on a pavement?
On the side of the street.
Okay.
So, partially in the street, partially in the grass.
Okay. And you said you filled it up with gas, all that sort of thing. Okay. And you said your girlfriend was who at the time?
Naira.
Naira. Okay. Is that who you're currently married to? Okay. Does she go by Naira?
She likes to go by Jennifer.
Jennifer. Okay. Just want to try to be as appropriate as I can be, so I apologize if I'm misspeak or something of that sort. So, was she with you at the gas station?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you both get in the wrecker then? Mm-hmm. Do you recall what kind of wrecker or who you called?
No,
Or the color of the wrecker or anything like that? White. Okay. Did you have to pay them, I'm assuming? Cash, credit card or something?
Credit card.
Okay. So then it gets dropped off. You go home then? Or, okay. Do you ever have any contact with Ryan after he left?
Not at all.
Okay. Would you communicate with him even while he was staying there? Like through the phone or anything like that?
Rarely, no. I didn't have his number or email or anything like that.
Did he have a phone?
I believe so.
Did you see him using one?
Not that I can recall. The only thing I do remember was, I think Corey let him borrow an old laptop.
Okay.
To communicate with his friends and family, I think.
Okay. Did he have a tablet or anything?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Did you all kind of have your own computer? Or did you?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Did you do a lot of work on a computer or like your phone or anything?
Probably on my laptop.
Okay. Who would all have access? I mean, I have my own personal Gmail and, Facebook, things like that. Mm-hmm. Who would all have access, I guess, to like your Gmail?
It should just be me.
You? Okay. Would Jen or Corey or no? And Jennifer wouldn't have any access?
She shouldn't know.
Okay. Okay. Does Jennifer have, I guess her own accounts then that she accesses? Okay. And you said you didn't communicate with Ryan really. It was more Corey bringing Ryan into the picture. I guess how did that go whenever Ryan first got there? You said you weren't really on board for it.
Very awkward.
Okay, tell me more about awkward.
Well, I obviously didn't want him there in the first place, but Corey and I had argued about it extensively, so that's when I came up with the stipulation that Ryan could stay if he got a job.
Mm-hmm. But you said he didn't end up getting a job.
I don't know. No, he didn't. I know he tried to do some interviews, but I don't remember if he didn't get the jobs or if he just didn't go to the interviews. But I could see that he wasn't really making an effort.
Mm-hmm.
And he did pay his rent on time, but other than that, I tried to limit how much time I had with him.
Sure. Okay. And you made a comment earlier that it was discussed and Corey kind of delivered it to Ryan that he needed to go. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned that he was pleading with you to give him another chance or what have you. Tell me more about that, the pleading.
I know that he was crying, and a lot of what he said didn't really make sense.
Okay. Tell me more about what he was saying.
Something about his family not being good enough. And I tried to be sympathetic and said, well, from what Corey told me, you didn't get any jobs. This was the stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I said I was sorry, but that Corey ultimately makes the call, and if he says that you need to go, I have to agree. And then I asked him if he had anywhere else to go, which is when he mentioned that there was someone else that he had met and was getting close to. So I said that, that he could try to contact him or go back home or something, but that he would have to leave whenever Tori said.
Did that get a little heated? I mean, when he didn't want to leave, obviously.
Not heated. Like our initial conversation, I was calm, he was upset, but after that, I guess he was more resigned.
Kind of kept to himself, or
there was no shouting or anything like that.
Didn't get physical?
No, not at all.
Okay, and was Jennifer around for that conversation?
No, she didn't want to have anything to do with him at all.
Okay, so she didn't step up and stand up with you on that
we had
at all?
We had a private conversation. Ryan specifically wanted to just talk to me.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
Probably because I'm the most level-headed out of everybody.
Sure.
And I'm kind of I was kind of the middle ground, I guess.
Kind of the mediator in the whole bunch. Okay. How did Ryan and Jennifer get along? How was that?
Jennifer did not like him, but also did not want to have anything to do with him.
Okay.
So I would say she went out of her way to not be around him as much as possible.
Okay. You mentioned that you had driven in Ryan's car before. Did you have your own vehicle? Mm-hmm. What kind of vehicle did you have?
Yeah, it was around the time I might have still had my Corolla at the time.
Okay. So I guess, is there a reason you wouldn't have driven your own vehicle?
No, there's no reason.
Okay.
I just thought it would be fun.
To try somebody else's vehicle? Okay. So that would have been parked at your apartment or what have you. Did Corey have his own vehicle too? And
he didn't have a vehicle.
He didn't have
his license.
Oh, okay. So how would he get around?
I would either drop him off or he would take the bus. The public bus.
Okay. Did he ever go meet up with other people to experiment as well, or to? Okay.
I didn't want to know about it, but I knew that there were local groups. He tried to get me involved once, and that was rather
too much for you. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's not a lifestyle that I was comfortable with.
So was there a time that you did know that he was going to meet up and you went along or drove him there or anything like that?
Once, I think.
Tell me what you recall about that.
He was meeting a woman either at a train station or a bus station. Because I remember picking her up and dropping both of them off at a hotel and then going home.
Okay. So you dropped both of them off then? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you went home? Mm-hmm. Okay. Was it just you that dropped them off, or was anybody else with you?
Just me.
Okay. And they stayed there, without a vehicle then, or how did...
I would imagine so, unless...
Did you have to go back and pick them up or anything like that?
They figured out their own way afterwards.
Okay, so you didn't have to go back and pick up Corey or anything like that. He knew his own way. Okay, so what did you do after you dropped him off?
I don't know. Watch TV, eat food, just the normal things.
Okay. And do you recall around that time frame who would have all been in the home yet?
Jennifer would have been there. I don't remember if Ryan had left or not. It might have been after he left.
Okay. Do you converse with Corey still? No.
at all.
Okay. So obviously splitting, that was probably for the better on everybody's end.
After all of the relationship mishaps, it was mutual, us splitting.
Okay. So it was mutual, but was it pretty hasty towards the end? I mean, lots of arguments, things like that.
I don't know if I'd say hasty, but because it was kind of simmering under the surface for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ryan was just kind of the last straw for me.
Tell me more about that. Why was he the last straw?
That was probably one of the biggest arguments that we had. Was it prior to Ryan coming? Corey had this ideology that a perfect relationship required 3 people. And the whole reason that he got in contact with Ryan was to make him that third person. But I obviously didn't agree with that, and the entire time it made me feel like I wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the arguments revolved around me telling him all of that, and he wouldn't listen, wouldn't agree, wouldn't take my points, so I ended up conceding and with the stipulation.
You finally kind of pushing forward and following through with one of your stipulations that finally it needed to come to an end. Okay. So was there ever a time, I mean, you know, if you'd have those arguments and things, would you come home to visit and just to get away from each other? I mean, would you come back to Marion to visit with Mom or anything?
Not by myself, no. The only time we would ever come back to Indiana would be for holidays.
Okay. Okay. And would that be with you and Jennifer? Or?
No, it was just Corey.
Corey and you. What, I guess, how would you get back to Marion? I know there's so many different routes to take.
I guess whatever my GPS took. I didn't really pay attention to that.
You just plugged it in your phone,
just,
kind of thing.
Just go.
Okay. Okay. So you're into art, correct? Was that one of your majors?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you have your own studio, or would you go to work or anything, or would you do Corey and Ryan, or Jen and Ryan, or anything like that?
At the time, I think I was working at Barnes and Noble. If it was the last apartment, then it would be Barnes and Noble. So yes, there would be times when it would be either Corey and Ryan in the house, sometimes all 3 of them, sometimes just Jen and Ryan. I guess it was a mix.
Okay. And did you kind of have set hours for Barnes & Noble? I mean, did you work a pretty regular type shift?
Sort of. It would be one of 2. I'd either do an opening shift and then come home in the mid to late afternoon, or I would do a closing shift and come home, I guess, around 8 or 9.
So if you come home from mid to late afternoon, around about what time would that have been?
2 to 3-ish.
Okay. And did that pretty regularly? Okay. Was there ever a time when you were at work that you get a call from Jen or Corey or anything saying, hey, we've got an issue at home, anything like that?
Nothing like that.
Nothing that you recall?
I don't think I ever had emergency calls like that, no.
Okay. Did you call off work a lot?
There were a couple of times when I did, when I just felt too emotionally drained, and I just needed a day to myself. I tried not to do that too often
Mm-hmm.
because I know it puts pressure on my boss.
Sure.
But I can think of a couple of times when I woke up and just the gravity of the situation hit me, and I called in and said, I just can't do it today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to when you said that Emma or Ryan was kind of pleading with you to give him one last chance, and you said Corey wasn't home at the time, but it was just you and Jen.
Mm-hmm.
How did that go after, I guess, Corey got back home?
I'm trying. If I remember correctly, I think Corey came back after Ryan had already left. I don't remember where he was, but I do remember that he came back, asked where Ryan was, and if he had left, and I said yes, and then that was the end of the conversation.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Corey was gone during most of that.
Okay. I forget anything right now.
I'm Rick again. So when you said you had this conversation with Ryan about him leaving, and Corey was not present, you said it was a private conversation, right? How long, like after that, did he take off? Like, was it that evening?
Oh no, I think it was at least a day.
A day. Okay.
From what I remember, Corey, I guess, gave him the ultimatum or the conversation that he had to leave, and then that happened at some point without me knowing, and then Corey left, and then I guess it was that either that same day or a couple days after was when I had that conversation with Brian.
So Corey had a conversation prior to your conversation
Yes.
with Ryan? Okay. So Ryan already knew it was kind of coming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that was part of the pleading and the upset that he had.
Now, did you, in the process of this, of talking to Ryan and you saying him pleading, did you have communication with Corey saying, hey, this is what he's saying, or so you didn't relay any of this to Corey?
I may have tried to text him, but I don't think I got a response back.
Okay. So tell me about the day, what you can recall about when Ryan left. You said that he met up with somebody. So try and go into a little bit more detail about that. Just, was it in the morning, afternoon, evening?
It was the